Since the first day Lamborghini have released the brand new Huracan EVO, we have been all dreaming about having a proper, real, rear-wheel drive version. Well, finally, here it is. Here is the car. And today, I'm thinking, is this car really a good compromise between a daily driver and a car that can be trashed in the mountains? My foot was down all the way and not even one sensation of the car sliding around. Second gear into a turn. Are we sure I'm driving a rear-wheel drive car today? Because first gear, turn, foot. What? I cannot unstick this car. This Huracan EVO has 610 horsepower, which is a bit less than the four-wheel drive EVO, but believe me, it's way more than enough. I'm currently driving in the sports mode. Let's engage the Corsa and see what that does. Corsa mode on. Can we make a difference? But this is just being me, for some reason, wanting to go a little bit sideways. But if we talk about the other quality of having an only rear-wheel drive car, is that I can tell you already, the steering feels completely different. I'm way more engaged with the road here. The steering is so precise, it's not even funny. Every millimeter of my steering wheel just takes me to where exactly I want to go. I take the line in the turn, and that's where the car takes me. In a normal Huracan EVO with a four-wheel drive system, you go into a turn, you have rear-wheel steering, you have four-wheel drive, so the car just blends into the turn, and before it will start sliding, the car will just sort of start going like that. Whereas here, your steering becomes lighter with the acceleration because obviously the car sort of goes a bit back, and it just gives you for way more precise steering. Yeah, I prefer this car. Straight up. I prefer the rear-wheel drive to the normal EVO.
I really do. However, what makes this EVO different from the original one? Inside, Lamborghini ditched nearly all the buttons for a digital screen and welcomed a pair of new bucket seats. Many parts remained, just like this fighter jet-like engine start button and the carbon pedals. Other than that, it's a classical Huracan interior. On the outside, this is where the game was stepped up. Or was it? Depends to which Huracan you compare it to. From a standard EVO line, you get a new front bumper, but from a standard Huracan, you get a bit more than that. The usual Performante exhaust and a new diffuser. To be honest, this design decision for a rear-wheel drive only model is clever. On the road, you will now be able to clearly distinguish a rear-wheel drive EVO from a classic EVO, but only from the front. Now, if you're really picky, you will notice the nose being lower than any Huracan due to the absence of the front differential. It is time now to see how the car performs as a daily. First things first, the ride.
Driving a car in the city is sometimes bumpy because Obviously the roads are not as perfect as, for example, a motorway. But I will be honest, the suspension in this car, well, obviously it's stiff because it's a supercar, but it's not like dying stiff. It's not like when I hit, a little bump on the road, my back is suffering. I'm actually very, very comfortable because, for example, in a McLaren 600 LT that I was driving just yesterday, Jesus, every single bump is like, I don't know, as if you're driving on a field. Here is just nice and smooth and comfortable.
To pass the real test of a daily supercar, there is a series of tests to do. First one being parallel parking. This turned out to be very easy due to the car being compact and having a very impressive turning circle. Next up, speed bumps.
Thanks God we have a great lift system that actually works in all of the Lamborghinis. And not only it works, it takes like 10 seconds to go up. Boom, nose is lifted. We're tackling all the speed bumps as if I'm driving a little SUV here.
If you do visit Geneva, do come by train, or else you will face harsh rush hour traffic.
Great. I mean, even in traffic, I will be honest with you, the car is not really intimidating because you put it in the Strada mode, so it's very quiet, there's no noise in the back. Aircon works even when I'm standing, which is great, I'm actually really comfortable. Those new bucket seats on the Evo are just perfect. Also, like, I'm just sitting down and it's really comfortable. So, to be honest, why not sit in a traffic jam? This guy is just flying in front of me without even saying thank you. Love the, ooh, bus on my right, ooh, bus on my right, bus on my right. The only thing is that you really have to get used to the visibility. You don't really see a lot from the back, even though the cover for the engine bay is glass. So you really have to concentrate on your rear view mirrors, which I will be honest with you, are pretty big and handy. For example, as I was driving the Porsche GT3 RS, the rear view mirrors are pretty tiny. I don't know why. I mean, clearly because Porsche are not really changing their design for the past 249 years. But here, it's pretty nice.
With cars building up behind me, there was pretty much nothing I could do but wait.
12 hours later, I'm still sitting on the same spot. Hey, we're moving! We're moving! Sorry, I'm not letting you go because I have to drive. I'm in a Lamborghini that I'm having difficulty to drive. Red light, I have to stop again. Well, I guess I just sit.
I tried to keep myself entertained with thoughts about the Huracan's exterior design.
Even though the Huracan has been on the market, for a while, and pretty much all the people already have seen the Huracan, to be honest, even now driving this car in a city with a lot of sort of people and pedestrians around me, everyone is paying attention to the car. They're just standing, staring, and taking pictures. That just proves how, special and amazing the design of this car is. Even with years, people still love it. I mean, and I love it, as a driver, it's kind of nice when you do get attention after you have spent around 250,000 on a car. It's green, it's green, it's green, go, go. No, there is a bus again, and there's a moped. You know what? How about some sports mode? And that's when the car wakes up. So even now I'm driving 50 kilometers an hour, I'm in 4th gear. Do this. Oh, and the little crackles, I love it.
As I went back to the mountain road, you may ask, but why don't we see the first rear-wheel drive Huracan much on the streets?
I know that people haven't really been much of fans of the previous Huracan rear-wheel drive, probably to the fact that the car still has been a bit heavy. Whereas this one is more powerful than the previous one and lighter in the same time. And isn't that the formula for just huge smile? And this car produces way more downforce because of all the little tiny aerodynamic changes that they have done. My comment with a 4-wheel drive Evo was that if you're not a professional racing driver and the car starts to go sideways, it may get dangerous because the way you get out of a 4-wheel drive drift is slightly different to the way that you get out of a rear-wheel drive drift. Drifting a rear-wheel drive is a way more natural thing for us as drivers because we that's the way we react to the car. So I sort of said that the Evo, the normal four-wheel drive Evo, has been a bit dangerous because you kind of can push it to a limit where you can lose it and you won't be able to get the car back on track. Here, however, it's a completely different thing. It sort of lets you to have the natural feeling of driving the supercar. You can push it, but you're still in control of the thing. And even if you're not that good of a driver, you're still in control because tires are massive, downforce is there, brakes are there, stability control is there. I'm currently in Corsa mode, not turning it off fully, so I'm just in ESC Corsa here. I know we can take the traction control down completely and maybe have the car go sideways, but I just think that I may not be the right person for that job as I don't have any racing background. But I think I have a person in mind.
Jean Alesi potentially victorious, just a few hundred yards. As Alesi goes for it past Johnny Herbert, coming up to the chicane, Herbert will have none of it and fights back. Then at 47.6, and you can see for yourselves how he's gaining on Schumacher. Jean Alesi wins the Canadian Grand Prix to euphoric applause all the way round. But Jean Alesi has won a superb victory as pleased.
I love this car because it's very light. The power,
Yeah.
it's a V10, no turbo, and that makes a big difference. It's immediate.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Now picture homie rolling. When you offer my condolence, you don't know just how I'm doing. The silence go them broke cause they know I'm talking.
I did drive the car, but I think I did not drive the car.
On your ego, bumping to my music, I'm eschewing. I'm just doing good a day, gonna have to get explicit. I got love for rappers like I do. Ask permission if I could kick it. Checking the repertoire, I got that rep on par with the best who did it. I just get it how I'm living. Shout out to the ones that with them. Think that I wanted to ransom where ends gold dog when I'm in the building. And it kind of ironic, who would've thought that I'd be the hottest? Never came close to being no bitch, but you know Stone was the fucking product. Tell me who won it? Not what you want is bound to be iconic, baby. You got it. And get that love and that's 100, checking the proof on it. When I'm in the spot and I catch the feeling, raising the roof on it. You know that we going about the head. The whole damn city. Whoa, nah, nah, nah.
But when it comes to her